You're a startup founder. You think your product is amazing and feel like more people should be buying, but the road is long and slow. It feels like you're stuck. There's always one thing I ask startup founders. Have you talked to your customers? They almost always say, heck yes, we talk to our customers all the time. But what I find is they're either selling or trying to improve their product. These are not customer-focused conversations. If we can get curious about our customers, then we can uncover critical insights that will help us build to the next round. I'm Anna Firmenov, and welcome to Building with Buyers, a show about startup growth where I'll explore how customers help startups build to the next round. Building with Buyers. Here we go. Foti Panagiotakopoulos. Is that right? Did I say that right? Oh my gosh, from the first time. You don't even want to know how many times I've butchered people's names. I actually have a bloopers episode where I butcher people's names and other bloopers I've done on the show. But Foti is the founder at GrowthMentor. And GrowthMentor, if you have not heard of GrowthMentor yet, it helps you get unstuck quickly with one-to-one advice from vetted startup mentors. So as we all know, growth is tough, and sometimes you just really want to talk to somebody to help you out. So that's what GrowthMentor is for. And I'm very proud to say that I've been on GrowthMentor since 2022. Can't believe that. I had to look back, and it's been a while. I've seen you guys grow and morph and add new features and kind of change to the market. And I really love the platform. First, because it gives me a way to talk to people where it's not like, hey, can I just pick your brain? It's just some random person. And I'm able to send them the link and say, sure, let's do it on GrowthMentor, right? So that we both kind of get something out of it, right? I'm sending folks your way. I'm, having that call, they're reviewing me, and then they're able to have a conversation with me. I also love that you gamify it. So that's like a big piece of, one of the reasons I've stayed on, right, is I'm trying to earn those points so I can get that trip to Greece. It's a game, right? I mean, I could probably go to Greece, but I love that I can get there through GrowthMentor. I also really like the AI matching that you guys have started to do. I've been scheduling some sessions with AI experts. So I've flipped the script and I'm becoming the mentee, and it's helped me figure out who to speak to. So Foti, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, lots to be proud of. There's so much that you've gone through since the end. GrowthMentor, I think, when did it start? Was it 2018? Am I wrong about that?
No, you're right. September 14th, 2018, we officially launched.
Oh, so the anniversary is coming up soon.
Yeah.
Nice.
7 years, right? Yeah, 7 years.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Okay, well, I'm really excited to have you on the show. I'm exploring the role that customers play in helping startups build to their next level of growth. And so let's just jump right into it. I'd love to learn more about how you incorporate customers as part of GrowthMentor's growth efforts. So tell me a bit more on how you think about customers as part of your growth.
It's fundamental to our growth. Everything we do is about...
Really? Tell me. Help me understand that. How is it fundamental?
I mean, our North Star metric internally is karma created, right? So how much value can we add, a positive externalities, economics 101, right? So because of our existence, how many people can connect, and then, the butterfly effect, something happens, right? But one thing that they all have in common is that they're just one-on-one conversations, right? It's human to human. And that's the core product, but it begins with the system processes of GrowthMentor, the vetting of the mentors, which I speak with every single mentor that's joined on the platform. I've interviewed thousands of them by now. I still do. To this week, I did 12 mentee growth roadmaps. I still jump on calls with them and just say, okay, just brain dump on me, right? What is your issue? What's going on? Why are you even here, right? And then at the end of it, I'll create really awesome roadmaps for them. Here, I suggest you talk topic 1. Here's 2 mentors we suggest for each one of them and give them 3 topics usually. So the point of the matter is just the TLDR is any opportunity that I can get to talk to people, from the onboarding of the mentors to, making sure that people are wowed on the first impression. I'll jump on it, because ultimately, like, it doesn't really take that much effort. You just 15 minutes of time. And I'm kind of crazy like that, where I just block them in like 2 hours straight, and I can do, I don't know, like it's 12 of them a day. Yeah. Then you have AI
Wow.
now, this new thing where you just take transcripts. And if you have a good multi-shot process, like, you can create some magical things at the end of it. Right. So that's kind of what I'm really excited about now. Like, I used to love to take the transcripts from my interview, from my sales calls, all different types of calls, and kind of do that jobs to be done, mapping, like, what do you call it? The qualitative coding. I'm from the old school where you have the Excel and then you kind of tag everything one at a time and, look for themes. What are the anxieties? What are the apprehensions? And now all of that is just like click your fingers and it's done for you. All you have to do is show up.
Fast.
Right. So for me right now, like, there's never been a better time to be talking to your customers.
What do you ask these? I've been on the platform forever and I don't remember because it was 3 years ago, right? When I joined. But what do you ask the new mentors when you do the interviews? You said you talk to each one. I'm just curious, like,
Yeah.
what kinds of questions do you ask?
Well, first of all, I want to understand like how they found out about us. So manual attribution. So I'm like, hey, purpose. I'll just give them a quick agenda. I'm like, look, we're just going to talk about. I just want to personally get to meet you, a little bit more about how you found out about Growth Mentor, and tell you the next steps, right? And then they usually just tell me like, hey, I found you from LinkedIn, or I found you from ChatGPT, or from Google. Number one, awesome piece of information straight away, because I find like even if you have like the perfect attribution setup, it doesn't exist. Right. So nothing beats just asking people like, how do you found out? So getting that out of the way, the next question I like to ask is, what is your ideal mentee persona? So flip it back on them and say, hey, like, if you had a magic wand, who would be that perfect mentee for you? And do you have any preferences for industry? Are you industry agnostic? And that's pretty much it. And then from those questions, we just riff and we just go. I don't really interview them per se.
Oh, got it. You're not like double checking that they have that expertise because the platform does that for you. That's the beauty of it. It's like when you have all of those calls with people and then they rate and review you. If you have a 2-star rating, I don't. I have a 4.99, I think.
Yeah.
I think you have a 5-star rating.
No, I
Foti,
have 4.99. But
you
after
do?
50 reviews, I'm like, holy shit, how is that? How did I not piss more people off? Like,
Yeah. No,
get my
seriously.
reviews,
I,
I swear.
I wasn't sure how that would pan out, but
Yeah.
apparently people are getting the value. So the platform does that for you. You don't have to really, you can probably assess it through just like a quick call with a mentor, but then the platform will do it for you. So awesome. You said that there's these road mapping sessions. Like,
Yes.
is that for the mentee? Because you want to make sure they have
That's
a
what it means.
good, yeah, you want to
Yeah.
make sure they have a good experience. Like they wanted to get on the platform. What are the most common reasons that people get on the platform? What are the least common reasons, but you think those are fascinating anyway?
The most common reasons are definitely product market fit, how to go to market. A lot of founders are joining that are having to wear multiple hats. I'm head of product, I'm head of marketing, I'm head of insert here, right? So they come with the idea, we call it the founder fever, super excited. Oh my God, we're going to change the world. And then it's like, oh shit, like this is
It's
not
actually
that easy.
hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually really hard. Like even with AI tools, you can build with Lovable or whatever, like you still have to go to market and get people's attention. And that's a lot harder than I think most people think. And then they end up going to ChatGPT or Google or watching YouTube videos. And they're like, this information, this point of view, no broad targeting, no, go super specific. No, just fucking go, AI, Reddit, social, organic. No. And it's like, sometimes you just want to have a chat with somebody and just vent. So like, that's really the number one reason, is just people are overloaded with too many different options. I mean, optionality is good, but like there's a point of diminishing returns, especially if you have multiple really awesome ideas on how to go ahead with something. So, the same thing applies with employee. Like we have a lot of marketers on as well. Marketers can't talk. Yeah. And it's the same kind of thing. Like I have all this pressure. I have to do like the job of 5 people because there's been layoffs, and like, how do I not get fired?
Yeah, that makes sense. Anything that like has come up as the reason why they're jumping in using Growth Mentor that's not as common? Anything that's like surprised you?
Yeah. Yesterday I had one of these road mapping sessions, and the gentleman just quit from his job in corporate, and now he wants to like figure out, maybe I can either do startup stuff or maybe find a job in the space. So like this career navigation, I guess it's not super uncommon, but it's not the most common for us. Like we're more on the founder side. And then other people, I think they just kind of view it as founder therapy and they're just lonely and they just want to talk to people.
Interesting. Yeah, I would say that my calls, I've been on dozens of them by now, but my calls are typically around like the work that I do. But sometimes I do get the one off, like, how did you build your business? Because I want to do that too. Where did you start? Right.
Yeah.
So I get those too. And I think I've gotten more of those in the last couple years as people are getting laid off and trying to figure out like, what does work-life balance mean to them? What does a good career mean to them? It's not that maybe the traditional route. So really interesting. Okay. So I know because I'm in it, there's a Slack community in Slack, right? That's another way that it's not just the platform and people get to use the platform, but you also have a community in Slack. How's that going? What's working well within that community? And where are you thinking to like focus to keep improving it?
Yeah. So it's summertime right now. So it kind of fell off a little bit if you check the Ask the Community channel. It's not as much engagement as I would have liked, but I'm hoping people are actually like doing stuff outside. Generally, we used to have two Slack workspaces, one for the mentors and one for the mentees. And then around 3-4 years ago, I don't remember exactly, Jessica had the great idea to merge them together. And that has been really good because we've centralized across one channel called Ask the Community. Because before we used to have different channels based on topic, like, you have your Facebook ad channel, your e-commerce, and we just put everything inside one right now. And it's much better that way. And some other things that are quite interesting, like I guess unique to GrowthMentor is I like to call this the most uplifting Slack channel on the internet. It's the hashtag real-time reviews. So every month around 800 to 900 reviews are left for the mentors for their sessions and they just get piped in real time over there. So that accidentally is our best like discovery mechanism for mentees to find who to book a call with, because they just check the real-time review and they're like, oh my God, this person left a review for a great Facebook ad session. Like, let's check who that mentor is. Obviously, there's a link directly to their profile and they check them out. So there's a lot of things you can do with webhooks to kind of push output from your own application or business, whatever that is, to if it's interesting and useful into your Slack to kind of energize the community and show like things are happening, right?
Yeah. I have a slight tangent question. When I joined the platform, I feel like the sessions were being scheduled with me like weekly. And I was like, oh my gosh, it is kind of just all over the place. Sometimes you don't know, like there will be a month where 3 will come through. There will be a month where 0 will come through. Have you looked at your data to see the people that are most requested right now, like their expertise? What's the expertise that's being requested right now? Like who's scheduling sessions with who? What's the need right now? And I have thoughts on what that might be, just given that I'm scheduling sessions with folks that are using AI in unique and different ways. But what have you seen if you've looked at the data for that?
Yeah. So I looked at the data a couple of weeks ago about this, just did a bit of a qualitative analysis using Claude session requests, session topics, and AI is definitely bumping. Like I want to figure out ways to use this thing because I'm hearing about it. And like there's all these processes that I'm doing by hand manually. Like, what can we do? So that's there. And then it's the constant, what I was telling you earlier, like I have too much on my plate. I'm not sure what to prioritize on that. And then that doesn't necessarily have to be tied to any specific persona of mentor, like, their Facebook ads or whatever, as long as they have good reviews. Like that's honestly one of the biggest common denominators is momentum, because we have this leaderboards as well where we gamify, and the mentors with the most reviews in the last 30 days, 90 days or all time, like they get listed there and then we promote them as well. So sometimes mentees will just look at the leaderboard and just be like, hey, this mentor must be good. They just got 12 reviews in the last 30 days. Let's see what everyone's saying, right? So that's another.
Oh, it could just be kind of like an open, let's have a conversation with somebody that's just been on the leaderboard and just have an open chat with them.
A lot of people look at profiles and then kind of lean into what to talk about based on the persona of that mentor. And they'll think of a reason, just an excuse to talk to them based on, okay, well, they're really good at SEO, Facebook ads or whatever. Which one's relevant to me? okay, Facebook ads, let's make a session request about Facebook ads, right? Just because I really feel like I want to talk to this person based on this crazy review or these multiples of crazy reviews they've been getting in the last 30 days. So social proof is huge and it definitely does work, and as does gamification.
Do you notice that like the people on the leaderboard, and I haven't checked, but do they charge money for those calls? I don't charge because I feel like it's more of like giving back, right?
Yeah.
But do some of those folks actually charge money and sessions are scheduled with them?
Yeah, for sure. It's not a lot though. 85% of the mentors, even though they're able to, just for context for the listeners, we have this thing called the give first pricing model. So as a mentor, you can't set a rate until you have 3 reviews. It's kind of like a trial and also like the culture fit test as well. Like if you can't give back, like get paid for a little bit, then probably you're not,
Meant for this
aligned.
platform.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And like go on intro.co or something. So like once they get to 3, most of the mentors are like, holy shit, that was really fun. Like it just made me feel good. They get the mentor high, right? And then they just stay free. So it's actually like a small percentage of mentors that actually even set a rate. So from last I checked, 97% of all sessions requested were free and 85% of the mentors are offering their time pro bono.
Amazing. Yeah, that mentor high, it's really a thing. It's like, "Oh, I just helped that person. They gave me
Yeah.
a 5-star review. I want more." It's true. So let's go back to customers
Yeah.
and incorporating customers as part of Growth Mentor's growth efforts. So we talked about some stuff like really in the like customer research vein, right? When you have these interviews with folks, like how did you get here? What are you looking for? When you have those road mapping sessions, when you're helping out folks that are on the platform, onboarding calls, the community. You can actually see what is most requested, what are questions that people have, right? What about content? Can you tell me more about how you're thinking about incorporating customers in terms of content?
Sure. In this scenario, it's more involving the mentors in the content than the customers, I would say, the paying members, because they're the subject matter experts and it's just about amplifying the value that they're giving on a one-on-one basis. So within Growth Mentor, on the mentor profile page, there are all call to actions for all mentors to contribute a format to co-create content with us. So the options are to write a blog post on the Growth Mentor column or to do a workshop with us, which we host and then promote on paid social and paste it on their mentor profile page. So it's kind of a win-win-win setup over here. So we're incentivized to just create good stuff because as the mentors increase their, I guess, personal brand, like which helps Growth Mentor as well. And yeah, why not? So
What are
we're,
some workshops that you've had recently? Just curious.
we haven't done workshops in like a few months actually,
Oh, okay.
because we're trying to build it into the product itself. Because before we've been doing it for years and we've done like, I don't know, 120 or something, but you have to make the landing page on Unbounce and then set up the Zoom. And it's a lot of moving. So we're currently working on something behind the scenes to like productize it in. So like, yeah. So we
That makes
paused on
sense.
that and yeah, we should be starting again soon.
That's awesome. Okay. Sorry, I cut you off. You were talking about the workshops and then you didn't mention some maybe other content that's more customer led.
Yeah, customer led. I'd say just the customer stories. We have a couple of emails in our automation drips, which prompt them to write a customer story after they leave X number of reviews. I think it's 10 or something like that. And a lot of them reply, and we just jump on a call with them and interview them, get their stories, and create content there, which I think is really interesting. Like, I think it definitely helps with AI search to extract these stories. If you're just going to write some top of funnel like content that everyone's done before, no net new information gain, like it's kind of a waste of effort. So I really prefer digging in and getting actual stories, very nuanced use cases, and just having it indexed. You never really know how it's going to surface. It's all anybody's guess right now, how all of this is going to pan out and how to increase, like just your content within the LLMs. But I'm pretty sure that it's a breadth game as well, but also like really high importance is that specificity on very specific use cases. Because if somebody's Googling like, on ChatGPT and they're explaining their stress with their health tech startup and da da da. And, the LLMs understand the context. And then they ask, hey, I need to talk to a mentor, right? If that's in the index, that customer story of someone in a similar persona in a similar industry, it's going to give a much more tasty reply to that, the ChatGPT to that person, right? So I love talking to customers for that reason, to create actually good content on behalf of them. And another thing that we do is reach out to even non-customers to create content. For me, like I'm a huge fan of just using transcripts. Like I love transcripts for content in a post AI world. So we started this initiative called, sorry, I'm going a completely new chapter over here, but I just thought of
You
it.
wait, before you talk about transfers, going back to the mentor stories,
Okay.
is this like, because I'm a mentor, but for the platform, paying customers, right? That's mentees, right? So do you go to the mentees to get those stories? Do you go to the
Yes,
mentors that like
from the mentee stories. I meant not men.
mentee stories? Okay, I was like, wait, what story are we talking about here? So it's
Yeah,
from the mentee, and they're basically like, oh
correct.
my gosh, I was struggling with this question, and I came on here and I had this
Yeah.
amazing experience, and I talked to 5 people, and now I'm well on my way. So that's the kind of story. Okay, that makes sense. And you said you shared an email, right? Like you're including it in an email newsletter or
Yeah, in an email. And then also, no, I think it's just in the email. There's another thing that we do
okay.
in app to prompt them for a different type of content format. So after they leave a review for a mentor, the next screen on their session view is, hey, if you really want to wow them, leave a video review. And then we just link to a video ask. And then they like automatically every week we get like 5, 6 different video testimonials.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And they reference the mentor specifically, right? So then we'll go on LinkedIn and share, and we call it the Friday Feels. Every Friday, if you go on LinkedIn company page, you'll see one testimonial UGC video, and we like honor that mentor and like, this is dedicated to you. So it's just I call this a vibe loop.
That's great. You guys have so much user generated content. Just thinking through like how you it's just kind of built into the user experience. Like after the session's done and you're like, wow, that was so helpful. Ask them to leave a video review. And then they do. And that's just like, that's amazing. You have access to all this video content.
Yeah. And then we take that video review and we put it on the mentor's profile page as well on the top. We added that recently, like a new scrolling section with the actual like video. Actually, it's on the bottom. It's above the reviews.
Yeah. How's the mentee versus mentor balance? Because it's kind of a marketplace. You're a marketplace company. And just curious, like how that's changed over time, where you're at today.
We're roughly sitting at like 1.1 to 1 of the mentor. So it's like, let's just say 1 to 1, right? So there's like 750 mentors, around like 800 or so mentees. So there's a lot of supply right now of mentors, which is why I've had to put a lot of people on the waiting list, because the last thing you want is just a lopsided experience where mentors aren't getting bookings.
Totally, totally.
Yeah.
Okay. And so keep going. You were talking about transcripts. I cut you
Yeah,
off.
I love transcripts. I think it's like a cheat code to creating content. I'm a big fan of Benji Hayem from Grow and Convert. Shout out to that guy. I had a chat with him in 2018 about how to get unstuck with GrowthMentor. Then we didn't have we were pre-revenue at that. We just launched. Sorry, this is another side story, but it's completely
That's okay. Go
my
ahead.
deep brain kind of works like this. So I have a blog post in case anyone wants to, get the TLDR of it. It's called "Why Adding Friction to Your Onboarding is Actually like a Good Thing." Right? I wrote that, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, and we launched. We're getting hundreds of signups. Top of, they weren't purchasing paid mentorship sessions at this point. It was just a marketplace, right? It was just pay. All the mentors had their little rates, and nothing was happening. And then at some point, I changed the user acquisition flow. And to create an account, you had to first fill in a type form and then book a call so that we could build that growth roadmap for you. So that's a legacy idea from the past, which I've just resurrected a couple of weeks ago because I wanted more insight onto what's happening, because I can sense a bit of a shift in the market. So whenever I sense things, I'm like, all right, let's stop. Let's put friction in the onboarding and force people to get on a call with me directly so that I can really understand what's happening here and jump on. I like to do sprints of 10, 15, 20 calls a week for 2 weeks. And then I'll put back the paywall again and they can sign up. Right. So that's what I did back then. And that's when I found out that there was no activation because there was no social proof on the mentor's profile pages because we were brand new, right? The chicken versus egg. So then I sent out an email to the mentors and I'm like, hey, would you be cool doing a couple sessions for free, to get reviews so that we could deal with this thing? And they're like, yeah, hell yeah, let's do it. We were joined because we just wanted to mentor. It's not about, no one's going to pay their mortgage. So that's when we introduced this give first pricing model, which changed everything, because then we were able to put a subscription in front and it actually made sense. So when we started Growth Mentor, I never had this idea of monetizing in this way. I just thought it was going to be a pure play marketplace. So anyway, that was a long way to just say talking to people early on if things are not working and positioning that chat not as a demo, but as some sort of a chat where you're going to help them get success out of the product, right? And like say, hey, you could have like a CRM for insert here, right? Talk to them, understand their challenges, what they're going through, and really give very specific ways how they can actually use your product and become successful, right? But in a not overwhelming way. Just like you don't even have to make it
just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Write an email, inline text on the email. I'm doing this lately and it's insane. Like we stopped the paywall. So now people have to jump on the call with me. And yeah, like conversion rate has gone up by around 50% just from that.
Because people are like, oh my gosh, I'm talking to the founder.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
This is cool. Like, First of all, like you're spending time with people.
Yeah, I honestly want to understand like if they're good fits and how we can help. And I've interviewed personally every single one of the mentors. So like I've got that cache like in my head, like in the front. And it's like, I know, okay, well, you got to talk to this person or that person or Eden or, you. And it's just that kind of wows them, right? So like for me, it's all about like, if you have the personality type, that charisma that can go out and give people some sort of a feeling, right? To feel like, okay, wow, like this person cares. Do it. It doesn't cost you anything. And it's one way to really give that perceived value of like disproportionate, like, oh my God, I just paid $75 and the founder took time out to chat to me and like, he made this whole thing for me where it's reality for me. I've got a project on Claude and I piped the transcript to, spend a couple of minutes using our AI matching to find the right mentors and send it over. It takes like 6 minutes per, right?
Hey, it's Anna, host of Building with Buyers. I started the show because I found that customers play such an important role in business growth, but they're often overlooked. We're so focused on net new. But the thing that makes you unique is not your product. There are so many companies solving the same problem and they have customers too. The thing that makes you unique is your superfan customers. That's your moat. Most positioning and messaging is guesswork. I'm a customer insights and strategy advisor, and I help my clients by interviewing their customer superfans and translating those insights into clear and compelling positioning and messaging that specific people care about. So you get deeper engagement with customers and prospects, increased inbound to demos, better sales conversations, increased word of mouth, and closed deals. If you're done guessing, stumbling along, and want to be more customer obsessed, reach out. I'd love to help. And now, back to the episode.
I think like founders, I work with early stage startups. And so the feeling I get is like, sometimes, not always. Yeah. It's like, oh, we don't want to bother people. Oh, we don't like this whole idea of adding friction to onboarding. It sounds negative. It sounds like the wrong thing to do. We don't want to add friction. When do you ever want to add friction? You just want things to be smooth. But here it makes sense because you're hoping to add value. You care. You're taking time out. I think that's so often like what we're missing in business settings because we want things to just be smooth and efficient. And you're missing the fact that these are human people. They need to feel like somebody cares on the other end. Otherwise, it's just a basic transaction. So when I work with early stage founders and even when I just have initial conversations, like I get the sense that they don't want to bother their customers for talking to them and doing research in order to help inform positioning, messaging, go-to-market strategy. What they don't understand is you're not bothering people, right? Oftentimes people actually would love to share more, would love somebody to talk to, would love to talk to someone about the work that they do, would love to talk about how this product has transformed the work that they do. And so just going back to your point about this article you wrote so many years ago and how it's coming back and it's reminding you to just like stop people. You're noticing a shift in the market. Let's check out what's happening. Let's try to add some friction in a good way. So anyways, wanted to share that because I think that's a relevant topic as well.
For sure.
You went off on this tangent and it was a good one. Come back to the transcript. So the transcript, just to tie it all back in, is you're having these conversations with folks and then you can take the transcript and then you can AI match and help them find mentors. Is that kind of how you work with the transcript?
For the growth roadmaps?
Yeah, for like the example that you just shared with me, where you're adding friction, stopping people, and then you had a call with them, and then you're like, wait, I can help find mentors for you, and not just one, maybe a few. That's one way to use a transcript, but you also use transcripts to write content too, right?
Correct. Yeah. So this is what I was going to go on the tangent about originally. This thing called growth journalism, which I coined a year ago, where you know how that a lot of marketers put like growth in front of their name and now they're like a little bit cooler, and product people as well. It's like growth product manager, growth marketer. How come
everybody's a growth something?
They're all a growth. Yeah. It's like, all right, my salary instantly, it needs to be 30% higher now.
Right. It's like when everybody said like the outcome needs to be ROI, or, like that's the outcomes that this product drives. Every single product started to say like, we increase your ROI. That's the same thing with like titles with growth. Yeah. It's like growth hacker. That was a thing. And now people are like, no, I don't want to use that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I thought, what about growth in front of journalists? Because I almost became a journalist like a long time ago, but that didn't really happen. And just get stories, right? And reach out to people that are in your, not necessarily ICP in the sense you want to sell them, but they're just in your space, right? And you just want to get mind share from these people. Because I like to think of it from this perspective. If this person here is having a coffee or a beer with someone else in that space after work, or after they leave their co-working space or whatever, like wouldn't it be cool if they had my brand in their name, so that person they're talking to, if they enter a situation where they're talking about how they could use that solution that you're offering, that's top of mind to classic word of mouth, right? So that's the thesis behind it, right? Just optimize for mind share of people that you really just want to know about, and that also have done something interesting, right? Have a story to share, because what's journalism at the heart of it? It's exposing stories in a way that captivates the readers, right? So in our case, we launched a content initiative a year and a half ago called Growth Journalism, where we reached out to founders that have graduated from some of the most popular startup accelerators and sent them a nice cold email and saying, hey, saw that you finished Antler or Techstars or whatever. We're writing a blog series about the experience for other people that are thinking about going into insert here accelerator. Here's an example, one that we did with Y Combinator. That was the first one I did. So, instant like, okay, well, these guys have done it before. This is their audience. And then you just jump on a call with them and you interview them for 15 minutes and you get their story. So it's primary data. You can use AI to very quickly create a very decent piece of content if you know what you're doing. And you just become a resource at that point. And it's primary information that cannot be cloned, right? Because I refuse to ever write a blog post ever again based on keyword research and volume data. Like I'm just never going to do it. I just don't care, how much search volume. It's not the thing anymore in my head. And I'm classically an SEO guy, right?
Oh, that's so interesting.
I think about it from like a high level perspective, like would someone realistically potentially, but it's more of like a gut kind of thing, right? Gut check. But what I like to think from is more, okay, well, what challenges are validated already from what words people are telling me to my face that they're struggling with? Can we solve those, right? And if there's an overlap between problems they're having and I can solve it, yes, or my mentors can solve them, then of course, we can create content about that. I'm not going to think twice about it. But the growth journalism thing was awesome because we interviewed them and now we're ranking for like startup accelerator, insert here startup accelerator reviews, stories, what's it like? People are searching the application process, and all of the people that would search for those queries about startup accelerators and find out more about them would be potential GrowthMentor customers, right? But we didn't take the content project of ranking for those keywords from the perspective of, okay, let's just make like a listicle kind of thing, or, hire some writers on Upwork. It's no, okay, well, let's take the time to send an email, make a connection, interview them, share with them the content that we created with the social post already written, the image written. Like if you go on our GrowthMentor company page, you'll see a lot of these that we're posting. And most of the people we interview share it on their socials as well, right? So it's, again, one of those win-win-win situations. You get on their radar, you build relationships. That's kind of the approach that we're taking, because it's like one stone, three birds kind of thing, right? Like you get the content, you get the relationships, and if it materializes into some sort of a closed deal or an SQL, like cool, but that's like not the point. Right.
Yeah. Going back to what you were just talking about. Sorry, we're like all over the place here, but I was just thinking about, no, it's good. I like conversations like that. When we were talking about, that's just how founders' brains think. And that's fine. Like I'm used to that. When you were talking about the friction piece and how adding friction to onboarding is actually a good thing, like you started to do that. You started to have conversations with more people. You told me that you started to do that because you noticed something has changed in the market. So what have you found so far? I'm just really curious, like what needs to change on your end, or what are some of the insights that you've learned from folks? It might not be when you first started in 2018, how people needed social proof, but like, what do you think it is right now?
Okay, so that's a very
Loaded
difficult,
question.
very loaded question. So let me just like think before opening my mouth. Okay, so everything's changed the last 2.5 years. Funding has dried up. There's crazy global instability on the macro level. I mean, look at what's happening right now in the Middle East. And then on top of that all, we have AI. Right? So which is really, it's got its pros and cons, but from our perspective, it's definitely a competitor right now, which I could have
Yeah, people
never.
are having like therapy sessions with
Yeah.
AI, which like do it at your own risk, but that's what's happening.
If you would have told me 5 years ago, hey, in 5 years, there's going to be this new thing that's like, you could just talk to it and I would not believe it, right? How are you talking about? But it's happening right now. So I notice it in myself as well. Like I'll use AI and I'll pull it up. I'll pull up Claude and I'll just have a chat for 5 minutes and brain dump, right? And the output is, I'm not going to lie, it's excellent, right? But there's a lot of people that are now using this a lot more than talking to mentors. That's one of the reasons why I decided to do this stage, this intervention, and put my little
Intervention.
my
Yeah.
little Calendly up there and be like, hey, let's have a chat about it. Let's talk to some people, because it's one thing to talk to the people that have already signed up, your customers who are using the product. And it's another thing completely to talk to people that are on the fence, right? That's where, for me, the most valuable information comes. So what I've realized from these chats is that, yes, AI is great at helping us with a variety of things, which nobody can deny. But at the same time, it's caused such a schism in people's brains because everything sounds great, right? It tells
What do
you
you pick? Mm-hmm.
everything is amazing, your ideas, right? No matter what it is. After you use it for a while and you fall on your face and you're like, all right, I tried, AI told me this and I did it and I didn't work. And then I tried this, but AI was positive it was going to work and it didn't again. Like, you'll figure out the pattern, right? And it's like, all right, it's not God. It doesn't know exactly what you should do. It's actually like just telling me what I want to hear to a large degree, unless you're very good and diligent at checking its bias, right? And saying, and even then it's up to your discernment on whether you're going to take the sweet pill or you're going to take the bitter one, right? So at a certain point, people will realize, okay, actually, I need to talk to a real human being and get challenged, right? Because ChatGPT is not doing it. And there's also things that ChatGPT will never know. Like, it doesn't understand about the soft skills and the emotions. Like, it's not going to give you the energy that humans have. I believe that we're all made of vibrations. We emit frequencies. And what are you going to do with the AI? It's soulless, right? But, I'm talking to
Is
you.
it though? Is it Foti? Is it soulless? Or is it starting to get a soul because of all of these people that are talking about their feelings and feeding
It's doing
human
a very good job
questions?
at simulating, right? Yeah, that's
But at the end of the day, it's zeros and ones. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's somebody's computer in a data center, right? That's all it is.
One of the things that I think the Growth Mentor platform has and I don't know if you've talked to folks and they've said this too, but going off of what you just said about like people have frequencies and there's like this aura and excitement. And one of the biggest things that founders need, and even folks that work in startups or just fast growth companies, is to keep that excitement going, right? And I don't think that AI can help you with that. Like, that's really what you need. It is a grind.
Yes.
And so, can you fuel the excitement through using Claude or ChatGPT and like, come on, help me? I don't think so. I think you really truly need to talk to somebody that's like really loving life, like, and you feel it and you get that energy, that back and forth. And when I get on calls with mentees, I get a sense from mentees that there's just kind of like they're feeling kind of down, right? Like there's just this sense of, I've tried this, I've tried that, and I'm like losing faith and stuff, right? And then we start talking and they start learning and they start to, we start to unlock ideas and we start to get creative. And then there's the energy shifts. And so by the end of the call, they're excited. They're like ready to start rocking and rolling. They're like, I'll schedule time with you. I'll keep you posted on how this goes, right? I don't think you can build that by your therapy session with ChatGPT. Like, it's just a very different feeling. And so I think that's going to be your strength. I think that if you can help people visualize, if you can help people feel that, if you can help people really differentiate between the difference between like what you've built, your platform with humans, because you shouldn't be competing with AI. You shouldn't. When you say this, like, well, people have decided that they're on the fence because they're just going to use AI, but then they use AI and then they run into the conflict. It's challenging. It's not working. And they're like, try again, right? I don't think you're in the same competitive space, honestly. Like, this is people that have experienced things. They have actually grown companies. They've actually implemented. They've gotten paid. They've made money. They've made thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. Like, how can you compare that to a tool? I don't think you're in the same boat. Is that what you're thinking? When you hear this from folks, is that kind of the direction you're going in?
Yeah, GrowthMentor used to be used as well for like technical issues, which I'm seeing less and less of, like, how do I set up my Facebook ads campaigns? What format do I use, broad or whatever? And now it's a little bit more about the softer things that we were discussing, right? Like the burnout and tell me your story, what they cannot replicate from ChatGPT. So honestly, I think that it could actually be a good thing in a sense that AI is here, because now we can offload all of the mundane stuff to that. And then we can really get to the transformative conversations and focus 100% of the effort there.
Makes sense. Where are you going to place big bets this year? Like, what are you thinking? We've just talked about a lot of different things, went off on tangents. You kind of told me, well, it's clear that customers are at the heart of a lot of the growth that you're thinking about and working on. So where are you placing big bets this year?
This year, a couple of things. One of them is matching. I think discoverability is incredibly important. And I think that's a perfect use case for leveraging GrowthMentor, because you have the historical data of what topics mentors have spoken to prior and what the results were thereof. So using that as signal, I think could lead to much better matches, because currently with the AI matching model that we have uses embeddings across the text on the mentor profile pages, right? But that's self-reported information, right? It's not really indicative of the mentor's session history per se. So that's something that I'm personally kind of excited about. We'll start working on it. Yeah. And beyond that, just kind of pausing. I would really like to pause product development and just focus on product marketing and really promoting what we already have, because as a founder who has now donned himself the head of product as well, like, I love product. I love building things, but sometimes it can get a bit distracting.
Tell me more what you mean, Foti. Like, what do you mean by that? Because I 100% agree with you, but what has that meant for you?
What it has meant so some context is that we don't have full-time employed developers. We use an agency, which is amazing, and we've used them since 2018. Ragnarsson, shout out. But the two developers that we have are basically full-time in a sense, because we're the only project that they work on. Now they're starting to get some more, but we have an X number of hours per month to sum up that we need to spend on building stuff. So every month I'm like, all right, what are we going to build next? And, it doesn't have to even be that way. So like, there could be an option, which this was a big conversation we had with my co-founder, Jessica, a couple of months ago. Like, we could actually just not build anything new, and just because it works, everything's fine, and just pause, right? And just focus on promoting what we already have. And I've seen this before with other founders too. And this is advice that I've given to them, but I don't follow it for myself. So this is the summer that we're going to follow it. If you look in our backlog, like one of the actual action items is pause development. It's good. It's okay. And just focus a little bit.
Does that make you a little nervous or no? You're fine. It doesn't make you nervous.
No, because before the products, I was obsessed with the marketing side. My prior job before GrowthMentor was head of marketing. That's why I like you so much. So like
I get it now.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like a marketer turned product. Yeah. Like, I got to play with the toys, but I'm not really a trained product manager. So I've learned things like how to get good with the backlog and, your user stories and your acceptance criteria and all that good stuff. But at heart, I'm a marketer. So I'm really excited to just take a couple of months and go back to my roots.
That's amazing. So it sounds like some product marketing, some brand marketing.
Yeah, for sure.
Brand marketing. Bringing back the user generated content, like making that more, amplifying that, distributing that more, because you probably have so much of that. Okay, that makes sense. So You have told me so much, but I always like to kind of end the conversation with do you have a question for me? Anything I can help answer?
Yeah, one question is, and this is a question I ask a lot of my mentors, is do you see a blind spot that I might not see?
Right now, just based on everything we talked about during this podcast episode, I went to growthmentor.com. I land on the page. It says growth is tough. Sometimes you just want to talk to someone. It's not differentiating you from ChatGPT, Claude, whoever, right? Like talking to someone means a lot of different things today. And we have access to talk to someone, or that's why these names are like the funniest names ever. Claude and all of these different names are like kind of people names because they want you to believe that you're able to talk to a person. But I think that that's going to be important, is to just what we just talked about, for you to help differentiate you, to help set you apart. You're not even in the same playing field with AI tools. These are people with experiences that AI can't replicate because AI hasn't been out there in the market testing things. It's just regurgitating the information that it's reading across the internet. So I think that's probably going to be the main thing that I believe you should focus on. It's not just that. It's not that growth is tough and you want to talk to someone. Growth Mentor is more than that. Just like what we were talking about. How can you make people feel it? How can you make people see it? How can you bring that's hard to do, by the way, right? Because it's not just like talking about the product features. Product feature talk doesn't necessarily make people feel anything. It's like, oh yeah, that sounds valuable. That's logical. You're going to want to go to the emotional side of things because really that's what this platform is. It's very emotional. You can feel the energy changes from the beginning of a call to the end of the call. So I hope that's helpful. And I think you guys are doing amazing things. And I know there's been like other platforms. I haven't really enjoyed being on those other platforms as much as I've enjoyed being on your platform. That's why I've stayed with you guys for so long. If anybody wants to find Foti, he is on LinkedIn. Foti S. Why is it Fotis? Fotis is your full name?
Fotis, yeah.
I didn't know that.
You add the S in Greek when you're talking about me, but when you're talking to me, it's Foti. But I just go by Foti.
Okay, well, Foti, thank you so much for joining me. I'll include the link to LinkedIn and then Growth Mentor. Check out Growth Mentor. Go to growthmentor.com.
Yeah, just www.
Yeah, growthmentor.com.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And like I said, I love you guys. Love what you're building. If you ever need any help, I'm here to bring the energy to bounce ideas off of. So thanks so much, Foti.
Thanks. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Building with Buyers. New episodes drop weekly, so make sure you're following wherever you get your podcasts. You can find me on LinkedIn, Anna Furmanov. Visit my website to learn more about how to turn customer insights into positioning and messaging your buyers will understand. FurmanovMarketing.com. And don't forget to leave a review if you're loving the show.